2 minutes later, it came back on, and you still got to go through the reboot process. So everything's looking fine. I'm hoping we can keep it longer than 30 minutes this time.
I gotta get UPS's moved over. I mean, I decided that an hour ago and ordered one, but it doesn't get it here right now. So we'll have it fixed by the next time. That's just what this is. That's part of this is, well, we'll have it fixed by the next time.
Exactly.
And I will bet it should be toggled back on, though we might have to. Yeah, it does not look like all the socials toggled back on. Of all the times it didn't. That's interesting. Okay.
I know. I kept trying to figure out if it was on my end or if my phone was glitching. So I still can't figure that out. My phone won't load anything.
Okay. Well, we know we're live on the other places as well. So
Perfect.
Again, kind of resetting things here. We've had a couple power disruptions downtown. I have backup power for there, but apparently the backup batteries aren't as fast in milliseconds as they need to keep the computer from going down. Gonna have to get another one, but that's just part of how this is. Redundancy, you can plan for, and then you have to learn what to do next. So, but that's the reason why. If you're watching us on social and it went down, let me be crystal clear. The reason why we talk about the Mississippi Live weather app is social media is going to do what social media does, and I can't always hit your phone right away from there. But from behind the scenes here, the folks that had the app, I was able to change over to my laptop at home. So if the world ended downtown, we'd at least be able to do something here. And if this failed, all that stuff downtown would work. So we're built for redundancy for severe weather, as we showed during the ice storm, and still a few little bugs to work out. But I think we've got our handle on that as well. I'm gonna bring up the chat with folks here behind the scenes for a moment, just to kind of get a talk. Doesn't look like we've had a lot of comments since the reset here. Coming in. So we'll see those comments usually, even if people are making them, take a few minutes before they start coming in. So we will await that. That was fun. Okay, here's not locked up version of me. Every time we get a power outage like that, there's like 5 things that have to change. So this is regular me back saying hi. Okay, so warnings have been now, as of latest update here, allowed to expire. It's possible, again, we could have some sporadic reports of wind damage. And so I'd say severe weather still remains a possibility, but I don't expect to have a lot of reports of severe weather going forward. So if you guys have that kind of information, get passed that along in the chat, or use the Mississippi Live app to send in that information as well. And we appreciate you guys for doing that. I do want to check in with Emily here in a second, if I can, to see if we've been kind of reaching out. I know that she is in the process of trying to find out more information. Just curious who she's reached out to. That's not how this works. Okay, we'll try to get to her in a minute here. Let's check in on power outages with Caleb real quick. Caleb?
Yes, we're still monitoring those power outages across North Mississippi. Good news, we're not seeing those continue to climb, so hopefully we've reached our peak and not going to see any more be reported. Tishomingo is still the county hit the hardest so far, with 836 outages still reported. I don't believe any of those have come back online, so I think this is still pretty much the same update we were discussing last time for you guys outside the Iuka community and getting close towards the Alabama state line and pretty much just off of the river. So 595 in that major group here, 214, 9, and then 18 just off of Highway 72 on the southeastern side of Iuka. So Tishomingo County dealing with the most power outages. On the flip side, talking about these power outages not increasing, we are also seeing them decrease for you guys out there in Lee County. And I think even while I was pulling these up just a few minutes ago, I've already seen some of these blue squares kind of get knocked off as well. So we aren't talking about those large kind of brighter colors as prominent as it was in Lee. We were kind of seeing almost a mirror of each other with both Lee and Itawamba County. Now most of those outages are still being reported in Itawamba, but the good news is they're already out fixing those. Those outages have decreased to 83. This orange section you see here, 151, that goes into Monroe, and then 30 out there just south of, which highway is that? Oh yeah, 78. So still seeing quite a few outages out there in Itawamba County. I'd say Itawamba and Tishomingo are our two counties at this moment, Matt, that we're still monitoring those outages. But the good news is I'm not seeing those significantly climb whatsoever. So we're hoping to see those continue to decrease the more we can go throughout the evening. And I know these thunderstorms, they're going to still try to mess with us a little bit, as you saw here at the station. Taking a look at your comments, some of you guys were talking about it being below Iuka and some of those outages, if that's what y'all were talking about. Yeah, we do have a section here, thankfully only 18, so majority of outages southeast of Iuka, only around 18, and there's some majority further up northeast, which, oh, there we go, we're back. I turned around and saw our little tease for Mississippi Live at 5 because we're pretty much 3 minutes or 4 minutes away. So still talking about those outages here. Looks like we have Helen saying thank you. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning into the chat. Some people else talking about is Amory good? You guys, which I won't be able to pull up radar in here. I can do that on my phone for you to look at that.
Well, here we'll look at that here in a couple minutes. I think, Caleb. I think we'll go ahead and start the 5 o'clock broadcast here for a moment and get people kind of set up. Appreciate that. Mississippi Live at 5. We're going to go and start here, right?
Some things just go together.
Like friends and good vibes.
The perfect ribeye with a Caribbean twist.
Shrimp tacos and a hint of lime.
Unwinding after work.
Dinner with the family.
Or date night with someone special.
Do you want it neat or on the rocks?
Mozzarella or pepper jack?
Whatever you choose.
Whoever you're with.
We'll be here.
Because we know
Together tastes better.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome in Mississippi Live 5.
Welcome in
Mississippi
Meteorologist Matt Lawpon have had a severe thunderstorm warning that affected part of North Mississippi. We expect we could still have maybe 1 or 2 heavier thunderstorms. I just don't know that we're going to get quite the severe levels again. We do have heat advisories in place. That'll come again for tomorrow. And there is a severe weather threat each of the next 2 days. We'll break those down coming up here in a couple of moments. Strong thunderstorms again for the weekend, and a slightly better chance, I think, to maybe see some severe thunderstorms as we look toward your Saturday. And we are looking at the question
of money. That's where our Emily Leonard, again, looking ahead toward Mississippi Live News. Emily, what are you looking toward?
I had a teacher reach out to me on Facebook talking about the $2,000 bonus that special education teachers should be getting. The question is where is that money? There was a little bit of a debate going on between the state educators as well as the legislature. So hopefully we'll be able to clear that up for you coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Okay. Now give me that one more time. I don't know if it was just my monitor where I lost that for a moment. Can you give that to us one more time?
I'm glitching like in the Matrix. Okay, I'll try this again. The last legislative session, they approved a $2,000 bonus for special education teachers, but there's been kind of a squabble going on between the state educators and the legislators on specifically who is getting that $2,000 bonus, what special education teachers. So they had to clarify what it means, who's getting it, and now we know when they will be getting it. So we'll hopefully clear all that up for you coming up in a couple of minutes. Also, a story out of Saltillo, since we're talking about some trees down with the storm. Saltillo has a brand new truck that they are showing off to help clean up a lot of the debris left over from storms.
Okay, well, looking forward to that with Mississippi Live News here in just a couple of minutes. Our forecast this evening continues to have some thunderstorms around as we go throughout. Still somewhat limited in coverage, so not expecting it to be everybody, but heavy rainfall, lightning,
some power disruptions possibility with these. And we'll talk to Caleb more about some of those power disruptions we've had out there in a couple of minutes. Looking at Mama Justice Doppler radar and its latest scans on kind of the wide shot there, our previously severe thunderstorm that we've been tracking up closer to Hamilton, Alabama, and now has gone through a bit of a weakening phase. Closer inspection here, again, showing that up toward, again, the Hamilton area at this point in time. It looks like the audio behind the scenes. There we go. We're looking at that again. Hackleburg, below severe limits, and I would say you can clearly see just from the eyeball test it getting a little bit weaker. So we'll track this ahead, and we're going to track the rain-cooled air running ahead of this, as opposed to the actual thunderstorms itself, because that little gust front there has pretty consistently knocked down some tree limbs and could continue to do so as it moves toward the south and east. So Yampertown, we'll look at 5 o'clock for you. The Poltai area about 5:05, Brilliant 5:06, close to Haleyville about 5:09 as that moves toward the east. And we'll change our size of our city just a little bit there so that we can take it farther ahead. And looking there toward Lynn at 5:24, Double Springs at 5:37, Kansas at 5:39, and Carbon Hill by 5:42. There have been other thunderstorms that we've been tracking, like these out around the Golden Triangle. Checking our camera there in the West Point area. This one, again, presented by the folks there at Fastnet, with the thunderstorms kind of building up there on the horizon, but not expecting that to, again, go to severe limits. Appreciate, again, the folks at Fastnet. We're 79, rain cooled to that. That's a benefit. At least we have some cooler air there from that. Caledonia, we're sitting at 79 degrees as well, with those showers more toward the horizon. You know, we've been looking at some really gnarly looking shots from time to time in the Amory area. Our Amory camera coming in Smithville, again, with some of the rainfall around. Actually, the Smithville camera locked up from the last time we had some bigger thunderstorms, but looking a little less rough there in Amory, 84 degrees. And of course, to flip the script, we'll go all the way back there to Cleveland, and it's 91, feels like 106. And so that is the juxtaposition we have with those heat advisories in effect for spots there in the Delta versus obviously not the location farther to the east. So on Mama Justice, from that, again, the Brooksville area, we have Purdue, but again, that's a peak we can tell just by the number of lightning, 5, of course, or the. So yeah, these storms, again, going to be, I think, mainly below severe limits tonight. And as we head into this evening, continue to move toward the south and east and kind of away from North Mississippi. Now, we could potentially see some sporadic redevelopment show near the Tennessee state line, and maybe a couple as far south as it shows toward Tupelo. But I'm much more interested in what's going up here into Tennessee, because I think this will have an impact on tomorrow and how many of these thunderstorms really kind of get going. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go back a graphic here for a moment and look up for the same spots there. There are some storms up there now. We compare that to what the model expects, and the model expects a lot more. So what happens here then has a trickle-down effect to what happens for us. So notice how that has an organized complex of storms. And again, that moves there through kind of western Tennessee, more back toward Jonesboro. I think this could clip the far northern portion of our area. And that's where we could potentially have a chance to have a couple of stronger thunderstorms, I think, for tomorrow. By 8 a.m., not here yet. Later in the day, as we go through the day, those chances do get a little bit more likely. So we reflect that looking at the rain chances there. 10% we'll say at noontime. And again, I think it's going to be in the northern portion of the area, 10 to 20% on that rain coverage for tomorrow, with, I think, a more significant chance as we look toward your Saturday and especially Sunday. Now, coming up here in 60 seconds, we'll be breaking down those chances for rainfall as we look into this upcoming weekend and the severe weather chances that could go along with it. Timing that out for you as Mississippi Live Weather continues here in 60 seconds. Actually, it's not true. Emily's back with news in 60 seconds. One of these days, I'll remember that. Your latest news headlines from the day in just a...
It's happening right now. No sales tax at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo.
Wait, no tax?
No tax?
No tax. No sales tax.
Did we mention no sales tax? It's happening at Room to Room Tupelo.
Every legend starts somewhere.
Not with perfection, but with the decision.
The decision to show up, work harder, and believe this place can change everything. At Northeast, you're more than just a number.
We're built on opportunity, and our students are willing to rise to the occasion.
Here, success isn't handed to you, it's earned.
You don't just leave with a degree, you leave as a legend.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. We introduced you to the new Aberdeen School District Interim Superintendent on Tuesday. This is Joseph Stone. Now, the district's Board of Trustees says he will not be the interim superintendent. Stone made that announcement on Facebook today. Here is a look at the post. In it, he says he will not be able to serve in the role because of an oversight regarding the qualifications established by the Mississippi School Boards Association. Stone believes that he met the requirements under an alternative pathway, but he does respect the board's decision. No word yet on who will be stepping into that interim role. I had someone message me about this next story, and I really hope that we have an answer for you. Teachers, I know you have been waiting months to know who actually gets that $2,000 special education bonus. Well, we finally have a little bit of clarity. Lawmakers approved the bonus this last session on top of a $2,000 raise for all teachers. But state education leaders and lawmakers, they could not agree on who qualified. According to Mississippi Today, it's also in the Daily Journal, lawmakers now say any full-time licensed special education teachers eligible, including inclusion teachers who support students in general classrooms. Speech language pathologists still don't qualify. Payments should go out in November. The Boys and Girls Clubs of North Mississippi have a new CEO. Sarah Brown took over just a few weeks ago, replacing retiring Zell Long. She's from Oregon. A recruiter actually contacted her right out of the blue on LinkedIn. She thought it was spam. Thankfully, it wasn't. But Brown has more than 2 decades of leadership experience in healthcare, the military, and the government. But what really drew her to this job is that she grew up attending a Boys and Girls Club in Oregon and credits it with changing her life. Now her top priority is learning the organization and expanding funding so they can serve more kids here in North Mississippi. So, who doesn't like to show off their brand new truck? City of Saltillo has a new limb truck. They're so proud of it, and they should be. It's already making the rounds, should be continuing to make those rounds by the end of the month. This comes on the heels of a new $1 fee on water bills to fund this program. The truck cost the city $192,000, which was under budget. Mayor Kopi Grantham says the program's gotten more popular than they ever expected. Ice, storms, drought have really done a number on our trees, so I'm pretty sure this truck will stay busy. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live. I'm Emily Leonard. I hope you have a great day.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Laupon.
You're watching Mississippi Live at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon outside right now on our FastNet camera in Macon, looking toward one of those storms a little north of town. Listen, this is not severe. It's 92, so maybe it's even welcome, you could argue, to get some rain-cooled air out of this. Maybe some 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts at most. 40 is probably overdoing it. 30, 35 miles per hour, I'd say more of a likelihood on that. As we slide up toward the Houston area, again, these storms are spotty, and then they leave, luckily, this shield of leftover clouds outside in Houston. We call that convective debris, and just kind of leftover stuff probably will make for a pretty nice sunset this evening. So make sure to have that Mississippi Live app handy so you can send in your weather photographs wherever you are at. Out in Oxford, we have, again, another good shot there of Well, actually, that was the last time we had some rainfall. Looks like that one is down. And from time to time, that happens with some of these cameras there. So we'll go over to Greenville, which was fairly popular yesterday at this moment, and looking nice and clear. And as a result, it feels like 106. Again, heat advisories in effect for most of the Delta because of the just stickiness that generally is the overall weather story. Back on Mama Justice Doppler radar, the storms we have, pretty spotty. And if I go to kind of clear air mode on this, I'll put it on where I've got all the returns pretty much. You can kind of see these kind of rings going out. It's kind of like water spilling on a table and then goes out from there all directions. So where those boundaries of rain-cooled air hit, from time to time, you're going to end up getting additional thunderstorms develop. So Louisville, that's what we're kind of looking at for you, but only looking at 11 strikes on this whole radar screen here over the last hour. So those remain relatively limited. Up there closer to the, again, Columbus area here, Koala Springs, basically right there at the Columbus Air Force Base. Again, that one is fairly heavy, but non-severe. And our storms that previously prompted the warning continue to fall apart. The reason for that, as you can see, the rain-cooled air detached from the front end of this storm. Now, in their wake, they have left from time to time some power outages. Our meteorologist Caleb Edelboot has been tracking the power outage situation in our Tupelo studios, not just because it's hit us from time to time, but actually tracking the situation because it's hitting others.
Yeah, well, the good news is I really have no new news for you guys, which is good because we were breaking down these power outages earlier. And if you're just now joining us, you're going to see everything we were talking about earlier while we were covering the severe weather. And the good news is we're not seeing those numbers climb. So Tishomingo still probably the #1 county affected in our viewing area with those outages right now, still at around 836. Have not really seen those go down just quite yet. Most of those outages are outside of Iuka, getting closer towards the state line and bordering the river between Mississippi and Alabama. So 595 for you guys, pretty much just outside of Eastport, traveling its way south towards Iuka, 9, 214, 18, just on the southeastern side. So for you guys out there in Tishomingo County, that is where all those outages are being reported, but not really seeing anything for Belmont, Red Bay, further out here towards Burnsville. That continues to be a good news. Speaking of good news for your Tom Bigby Electric Power Association, for Lee and Itawamba, those numbers, they're also not rising as well. So we're seeing them slowly continue to decrease, and more importantly, not seeing those numbers continue to rise, Matt.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? That hopefully get them to go down a little bit more. And appreciate all the folks with the various power companies. You mentioned Tom Bigby, 4 County, and just so many more that the folks that go out in the storm and directly after the storm to try to get things cleaned up. We appreciate their hard work and dedication. So we have the potential for a few additional thunderstorms this evening. You notice how Oxford, we have a couple that try to sort of redevelop there. And it's not impossible that they get heavy enough to produce some gusty wind. Again, 7 o'clock, this is trying to resolve the storms out there right now. We don't see a ton of redevelopment until closer to maybe 8 to 9, and even this might be overdone slightly. So we've had these kind of ongoing thunderstorms, even in kind of odd times of day the last couple of days. That could continue for the next few hours this evening, so make sure you have that Mississippi Live weather app to let you have those lightning alerts. Get inside if you need to. But again, we're not talking about tornadoes, anything like that. And 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, we are dry. Lots of clouds, and our attention starts looking northward toward kind of the next wave to move in. Upper 70s, South Haven, back toward Tunica, about 76 degrees Grenada, 74 Eupora, 75 degrees in Houston and Amory for lows tomorrow morning. So the Delta, for the most part, under that heat advisory for tomorrow. These heat alerts, at least through tomorrow, possibly extended again as we look toward again, your Friday. I don't know that they'll necessarily go into Saturday. So obviously caution advised. Severe weather risk primarily near the Tennessee state line and northward. Models have trended slightly farther north, and I'm going to go with our strike model on this one here, an exclusive here to Mississippi Live, kind of showing the thunderstorms back up here into northern Arkansas for tomorrow morning. Thunderstorms probably overdoing that explanation there. These out toward Nashville probably have more thunder than what we have north and west. And so this boundary here could still sort of see some redevelopment as we go through the day. Notice it takes it close, but not directly into North Mississippi, up there toward Lawrenceburg, where our friends at Tennessee Valley Weather, part of the Digital Weather Network, work from. They're probably going to be a little stronger with the storms versus what we have here. Notice it kind of sort of almost skips around us. And as we go into tomorrow afternoon, yeah, maybe some redevelopment of storms, but the heaviest
will stay up to the north. In fact, this is about as dry as we've been. But notice how you had that kind of bank of organized clouds that showed kind of move in. That could be one of those initiation points for, I think, a few more thunderstorms and what that is indicating there. So highs expected to be somewhere in the mid-90s. Maybe upper 90s out there for Greenville, 96, 94 Cleveland, 95 degrees Columbus, where we'll feel like 105. It'll feel like 106 in Amory and Aberdeen, and it'll feel like practically 110 out there in Clarksdale and Cleveland. So that again pushing us up high enough to have those heat advisories in place to the west. A little bit of redevelopment of some shower activity possible into tomorrow evening there far northeast Mississippi. A little bank of cloud cover moving through it, and hopefully nothing developing on that. So we're only around 10% for rain chances until the overnight hours into early Saturday morning. And again, some thunderstorms showing up here close to the Tennessee state line for northeast Mississippi, possibly in those pre-dawn hours of early Saturday. Saturday's low temperatures around 76 degrees in Grenada, 74 Bruce, 75 degrees in Houston, mid-70s in the Delta, with our chances for severe weather slightly more significant, especially really for the northern tier of counties here, north of Bruce, Amory, Red Bay, though I think we'll still have a couple thunderstorms, more than a couple, south of that could be heavy as well. So looking at our combined strike and HRRR models here, up towards Savannah, Tennessee, kind of that next wave moving closer. This could potentially be strong to severe late Saturday morning into early afternoon. I think the timing on when this wave arrives remains a bit of a question. Notice how tantalizingly close we get to some cooler air with the front up north. And I think temperatures do go down a little bit by the first of next week. Cold would be an exuberant description of it. So I don't think I could call it a cold front, but it's cooler air behind it. And some spotty showers ahead of it continue into your Saturday afternoon. Some of these, again, may be heavy enough to have some of the darker reds, so some hail, not an impossibility, some lightning and gusty winds as well. But hopefully most storms stay below severe limits, with storms getting a little heavier as our front approaches here by late Saturday evening. We'll look through Saturday evening and Saturday night here in a moment. So highs on your Saturday, lower 90s, a little bit cooler. I think the multiple chances for rainfall holding temperatures down ever so slightly. Heat indices, though, still hot and sticky, especially in the Delta. Clarksdale, Cleveland at 106, 105 there in Cleveland there, about 106 in Clarksdale, 102 in Houston, 103 Amory, and that 99 up there in Boonville might be optimistic. Here's the only way that happens. I think if we have some rain cooled air that slides in, like this has trying to come in from the north there, we're at 7, 8, 9 p.m. on your Saturday evening. Some of these will have some hail. Some of these could potentially have some strong gusty winds, and at least they come with some cooler temperatures behind them. But I do think into your Sunday, we'll have some rain chances to continue as well. But hopefully most of those storms are below severe limits. But that's why you make sure you have the Mississippi Live Weather app. Got it on your phone, you go about your business, and hopefully we're in good shape. In the early Sunday, notice we do have some thunderstorms potentially early in the day, possibly kind of tracking along our front. And I think the timing on this, we'll say flexible at best. I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't have quite as much there and the timing wasn't exactly like this as we look out towards Sunday. But some showers and thunderstorms kind of tracking close to that front. You'd sort of see, if you look closely there, still a little spin in the atmosphere, showing not necessarily rotation in the traditional sense, but kind of a low pressure center of sorts kind of developing along this. And that could continue to ignite rain chances later in the day on Sunday. Sunday, fairly widespread rain chances. This tries to keep us a little bit drier, but that would be optimistic considering the just overall quantity of storms, a front overhead, a low trying to develop north and west. Expect this to show more rainfall when Caleb looks at it tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock because I think it's underdone maybe just a little bit on there. The pattern probably remaining pretty active until the first part of next week. Here's a look again at that 7-day forecast. So we're 20% on the rain coverage for Friday. As we showed you near the Tennessee state line, that's our target area. As a result, we're still mid-90s, some highs upper 90s. Heat indices near 100 degrees. It's going to be sticky and rough. 40% rain coverage for your Saturday, 91 degrees, the high temperature Saturday afternoon against those showers and thunderstorms around, as you saw, again, northern half of the area. Some could be severe wind gusts, hailstones, I think the main possibilities that we're looking at with that. At 89 as we look towards your Sunday, that's right, a little bit cooler, and 87 degrees by Monday. Caleb getting aggressive here on the cool down. I'm going to bring him in for a moment and talk about this. Okay, so I'm not saying you're wrong, but I am saying that
I think some people are going to be very, very excited if that ends up turning into a reality. Make your pitch.
I mean, to be fair, I was kind of going a little bit above what some models were saying, because I'm even on the side where I was like, okay, 87, I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, some were putting us mid 80s, 85, 86. I was like, I'm not going down that far yet, but it's some relief. It's something to look forward to heading into the next week. And no matter what we're talking about, we're not really talking about low 90s. So upper 80s, they're trying to become a little bit more consistent. Mid 80s, I'm not there just yet, but definitely some cooler temperatures, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully we can get there for a day or two. I know that folks would take it, and they'd probably like just to shut off the rain tap for another weekend, but 'tis has been 2026, a way that it has worked out mostly. Hey, checking the chat with you guys again behind the scenes. The app isn't enough. We need your number on speed dial. Life 360. Man, I'm telling you right now, calling me is the only way people can consistently get a hold of me kind of at this point here. So I can't give out phone number, but I get what you're talking about there. Let's see. What was that coming in just a second ago? I saw Ethan there. I think he might have just been checking in behind the scenes. Southern Summer Rain likes your numbers there on the 7-day forecast. I think they're right. I cut in on my wife again. You're right. Got in trouble. I appreciate you, Stan, for watching. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, Power Outage, Hamilton, Alabama. Let us know what you were seeing. Caleb will have some of those pictures coming up during our broadcast at 6 p.m. Speaking of the 6 p.m. broadcast, again, we're no longer just weather. We're also news. And our Emily Leonard has a preview of what we have coming up today on Mississippi Live at 6. And Emily, what you got?
Okay, do you remember the Summit Center in Tupelo? Yeah, it's been a minute or two since you've probably heard that name. It was an event center that closed down in 2019, about halfway through the year. Well, it is being brought back to life. Got a bit of a makeover, got a new name. Hasn't opened just yet, but we'll show you some pictures of that coming up at 6. Also, if you know Richard Babb, he is a Tupelo City prosecutor. He is a man of many trades, and he also has a sandwich named after him, which #goals, right? He has written a book, and we will tell you where you can get that book, the name of it, what's in it, coming up at 6 o'clock. Matt.
I'm looking forward to that. I want to hear about. Okay, now where can I get the Babb sandwich? I've heard of this before, but like it didn't stick in my brain.
Cafe 212.
That's
Amanda
right.
Hayden and Jason have made him a sandwich, and I'm telling you, I think you have peaked when you have a sandwich named after you.
I mean, do you just do this every day I skip lunch, or do I just skip lunch every day?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot about lunch.
You're fine.
I've been real busy, y'all.
No, you were fine. I had a meeting at lunchtime. You started to do it, and I ran out the door, and then that was that. Oh well, we'll get dinner. Anyway, if you're going to be checking out dinner, check out all of Emily's news stories that she's been working on today. You can get those, again, coming up during our live broadcasts tonight at 6 o'clock. Clicked off the wrong one of those. Click off the top layer. And again, our premier partner, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. If you have not picked up your St. Jude tickets, please do so. A $100 donation to St. Jude could come with a $725,000 home built by Tucker Construction in Spring Lake Subdivision in Tupelo. It is going to be awesome. It's going to have the steam room. It's going to have all the things in the place. I think you'll enjoy it. But in order to win, you have to enter. And in order to enter, you have to reserve that ticket for $100. And you can do that in the Mississippi Live app. We'll see you at 6.